conversation here at Pinedale Schools. Have with me here a few teachers from our various schools to talk about how they're using Edmodo in the classroom. And would you just like to introduce yourself and where you teach? We'll start with you there, Heather.
I'm Heather Preble and I teach at the elementary school. I'm in charge of the PEAK program.
Eric McKelkey, and I teach social studies at the middle school.
Everybody knows me. I'm Ward Wise. I teach at the high school. And I do the business education. So I do the economics and accounting and work study and personal finance and all the fun subjects.
Thanks. So this year, everybody in the district has received some training with a tool called Edmodo, which is a social learning tool designed specifically for education. And now we're almost at the end of the first quarter. How's it been going with Edmodo? How have you been using it in your classrooms? Who would like to start?
Yeah, what I find about Edmodo, for me, and I'm new to education, coming from the business world on the outside, is it's exciting. I mean, it's fun. You can take a lesson plan. You can say, okay, I don't exactly know how to use all the technology, but I can get them started on Edmodo. I can shoot them a link, and then they'll just run with it. Whether it's a video that I want to show them, or whether it's a quiz. And that's mainly how I use it, is video, getting them information, and a quiz. And it's fun, it's engaging. What I did is I cut and pasted the link to that article. You can click on that link, it'll pull up the article, and then we can have that dialogue in your...
It is very engaging. I would say that definitely, especially at the elementary. I've used it for the same type of thing, setting the learning targets and the activities for the day, organizing all the resources in their files, which is just awesome because now when I leave subplans, I can just say the kids know how to do it, and they go to town with those things. We use a quiz each week, discussion questions, and then we've used it as a back channel for discussion with other classrooms around the nation about the upcoming elections. So we've connected with a classroom of 6th graders in Missouri, and we've gotten to have online discussions while we're video chatting. So
the kids kind of use it as a tool behind the scenes to communicate with that other class in, where was it, Illinois?
Missouri.
Missouri.
Oh, that's neat.
And share
That's very
resources
cool.
and things like that with that
Right.
class halfway across the country.
And we actually did get logged into the Edmodo group this morning, and we started sharing a few links for sites that we were finding. Have you guys logged into Edmodo yet?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. I'm looking at it right now.
And so, what about student learning? How do you see it? How do you see the use of Edmodo impacting how students learn versus if they didn't have Edmodo?
One thing that I like about it is like Heather was talking about, you can throw them a quiz. If you can have multiple choice, true, false, short answer, essay. Well, you can have the answers for the true, false, and multiple choice. So kids will get immediate feedback on that quiz. The short answer and essay, I can go in and grade per each student on the comment section. So each students get individualized feedback from me on if they missed that question. So it saves me time. Let's say I had a 20-question quiz and that kid missed question 18 and that kid missed question 16. The kid that missed question 18 doesn't need to listen to me give the answer to question 16 again because they got it right. So I give individualized feedback to each of those kids on the comment section. Speeds up the class time. I'm not wasting anybody's time going over something that the other kids got. So.
And those kids immediately see what they got right and wrong on the multiple choice and true false questions?
When they hit submit, yeah, it'll come back and show them their score and which questions.
First, they have to tell you what they thought of your quiz, though.
Yeah.
Tell us about that feature a little bit.
Is that what you do?
I don't know if high school kids and elementary kids do that, but when they finish the quiz, they have to give like a little smiley face or disappointed face or too hard face or something. And the kids that I have, they love that. Like, boy, that quiz was too easy. I'm gonna let Mr. McKelkey know. But then it shows them feedback. I like using it for giving students opportunities to ask questions that normally wouldn't. Some of them feel more comfortable in that setting on Edmodo. If Mr. McKelkey posts something and they're not sure, they can ask a question and then their peers see it pop up right away and they can sort of help each other come to conclusions instead of raising their hand and having to ask them for the class.
Okay, so it kind of reduces that effective filter that some kids might have.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I would agree with both things they said. We also have gone into the apps in Edmodo, and so we get to create things with that. So yesterday they created mock debates between President Obama and Governor Romney, which was just great. I mean, it's all right there. They can save it. They can post it on there. So they're getting to do all kinds of things that are, you know, normally you'd have to send them to 6 different websites, and then you'd have to save it and download it, and it's all right there, and it instantly pops up, and everybody can comment and give feedback, so they can get feedback that way on their presentations.
Awesome. So just to expand on that a little bit, apps is a feature that was added to Edmodo just this fall, and what Edmodo did was open up their programming background and let other programmers add things to it, such as the mock debate tool, which is basically a application where you can create an avatar of someone like President Obama or whoever you want, and kind of type in text or speak text and create a digital role-playing type of environment, and then automatically share that onto Edmodo. So, as Heather was saying, the nice thing about that is your kids don't ever have to leave the Edmodo environment to go to a different place to do that. And it all ties into Edmodo without remembering different passwords and websites, which can often be a management issue in the classroom.
I think what, you know, just as we're talking about it, you know, as Heather's talking about it, you see her kind of smile, and Eric, he's kind of like remembering some scenes in his classroom with the blogging. And that's what I think is fun for being a teacher with it. Is it kind of, your passion comes through every day. Because it's fun, and the kids are having fun. Because that's the way they do things now. You know, another nice feature of it is, like on the quizzes, I don't know about you, but it's, you know, at the end of the day, the lesson you want to do is sit there and grade quizzes and put them in the grade book. I mean, that's one of the things we do. With Edmodo, those quizzes are graded. Usually I get the grades in the grade book before the class is over. And it spits back the true and false, multiple choice. I do a few of the short answers, boom, it's in the grade book.
So
Bell
it's a
rings.
time saver for you.
Totally.
And lets you focus more on interacting with students one-to-one, or developing more, you know, other lesson plans or things like that.
Yeah, and I can build on a quiz. I can edit the quiz and keep adding questions to it. So let's say one quiz is 10 questions, the next week it's 20. Then maybe I start taking some questions out that they've mastered, because it shows you, you know, the class get this question completely right. Well, if they did, then I can delete that question, start adding others. I'm building my class final. You know, so at the end of the year, I don't have to worry about, okay, making sure I got everything in the final. I'm building it as the year goes. And then send it out on Edmodo, and here you go. It's a big time saver.
Great.
Huge.
I think the other thing that's really nice is small group feature, because within the groups you can actually make small groups, so there's only 3 or 4 students seeing one thing. So for us, we're working in cooperative teams for our PEAK project this year, which is going to be a big service learning project. And they need to find resources, they need to do research, and so I've been able to create small groups, and they can get all their resources in there without flooding the whole group with irrelevant material. So I think that's a really nice feature for grouping and making it easier for those kids to share.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah. It's pretty
You gotta
slick.
show me that. I gotta play around with that one then.
Yeah, I think that's one of those features that allows you to structure cooperative learning in the classroom, because sometimes cooperative learning structures are, you know, it's hard to have the rules in place and monitor all your small groups at the same time. With Edmodo, you can see what the kids are doing. They can have their own workspace too, to share resources with each other and record their ideas. And you can hold each group member accountable to make sure everybody's contributing to the group by using that small group feature of Edmodo. So I think that's a great structure to help kids with cooperative learning skills.
Yeah. You know, another thing, like the other day, there was a teacher who was using ExamView. Well, how do you digitize that into Edmodo? You can split screen it, and you can move stuff over into Edmodo, and then take those ExamView tests. So if you're a teacher that has a lot of existing material, you can bring it up digitally and move it into Edmodo.
In the library, so they're dragging it into.
Yeah. And then you can drag it right into your quiz too if you want to. You know, you still have to partition it out for your answers and things like that. So if you've got ExamView questions, bring it up on a split screen, cut and copy it, and then add response. So a lot of material, it's not like you're having to recreate stuff. It's very friendly to the existing material that you have, I think.
So if you have things that are digital or even non-digital, you can scan those in a PDF and transition that material directly into Edmodo.
Yeah.
Without too much effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a big thing, because everybody's, the resistance to technology is you're comfortable with what you've got everything in one format, and it takes a little bit of a leap of faith to go to the next format. It's pretty easy. Just gotta get in there and throw some pitches, so to speak.
Yeah. So what about digital age skills? I mean, obviously we want our students to kind of learn content and the context of what we're teaching in our classes, but digital age skills is always a goal to develop in students. How do you see Edmodo fitting into the development of those type of skills in our students?
I think it's been a really good platform for them to learn digital citizenship and learning, what's appropriate to post online, what's not appropriate, that there's a difference between your school or workplace accounts and your personal accounts. We've, learned a lot about using correct grammar. Even though you're in an online environment, kids want to write, use texting language because that's what they've seen, and, when you're on your phone, that's fine if it's a personal thing. But they've had to learn, okay, I'm in a school environment, I'm presenting myself to others, I need to have, correct grammar, I need to be appropriate in how I treat kids, and learning, how you write something when you're giving feedback online so that it's not taken the wrong way and how easily things can be misconstrued. So at the elementary school, that's, a big thing for us. And Edmodo has been a really good platform because they're on it every day and they're typing on it every day.
Yeah, and I think one good feature of Edmodo that supports that is that they can't directly send messages to each other. They can only send messages to the group and to the teacher. So everything is easily monitored by the teacher, and you can give students feedback on the appropriateness and the way that they're communicating really easily.
I agree. I think what I see in the high school is that higher level of thinking, where I can, in economics, the world's our oyster. Every day there's something going on. And it's nice to be able to link a video feed from whether it's the Federal Reserve or a press announcement or a news story on the euro overseas. They can pull up on their computer, go to the link, put the headset on, view the video, and then have a discussion. And it can be, what do you think about that? What did you get out of that? So it's that taking that information and applying it. And then we can go from there with the whole class, like you're talking about, on whether a kid's typing a question up, they don't want to raise their hand or whatever, they're still participating. And it's making them think about what's going on.
So they're kind of learning how to consume information and then communicate about that information in a digital environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it provides nice opportunities for collaboration. If a teacher poses a question, the way the whole group communication is set up, they're not just telling one person what they think. They're posing questions to the whole class, getting feedback from the whole class, and trying to come up with solutions as a whole class. So it's a neat way for them to work together.
And it's a lot of fun because, I'm sure you do economics in middle school as well, and with that subject, you don't know where you're going with a topic or where they're going to take it or what questions are going to come out of watching a news feed on the crisis in Greece, But they'll take you there, and then you can go there in their world of where they're heading with that and then tie it back into your lesson, Heck, if they're interested in something, they're learning it and they're thinking about it. And they're taking it home with them, which that's what it's all about, is getting them to think.
Yeah. I think it's a very interesting point, taking it home with them, because Edmodo is something they can access from anywhere. And I've seen kids in their classes, kids working on, because you can see the timestamp when they work on things, see them working on things from home. So I think Edmodo is a way to kind of expand the classroom outside of just the time that you're meeting together. So it's a way to, let kids who have a passion for learning or learning about the topic that you're introducing to them access that at other times besides just in the 45 minutes or however long you have in your classroom.
Well, and you're talking about the point of access. Last week, the volleyball team going to tournament, right? Threw them the quiz. We have quizzes on Friday. They're not there, but they've got internet access down there. They took the quiz, so they're not behind when they come back to class. That quiz is done. It's in the grade book. Think about a sub. You're going to be out. you can do your quiz or your links on Edmodo. You can set the time for it to be sent out to your class.
Right?
Your sub can come in and take roll and say, access Edmodo, there's your lesson, right? Which I love about that, because then I still have control of what's going on in the classroom. So, and it saves me a lot of time. I don't have to do a separate lesson for a sub. Not that I've been out, but, you know.
What about student reactions? How you know, anytime you introduce something new into the classroom, like Edmodo, kind of a game changer, you know, how do students react to that? How have your students in your classes reacted to the introduction of Edmodo?
Initially, they like it because they think it's Facebook. You know, I think when they designed it, they tried to make the layout similar so kids know how to use it and kind of get excited about it. So the initial reaction is good, and I think middle school kids enjoy it for the most part, except when we try and charge them to take quizzes.
Right.
But
So Eric's referring to a lesson he taught yesterday where we told the kids that they were going to have to pay 50 cents to take a quiz on Edmodo, with the goal of making them think about what it's like to have taxation without representation. So I came in and read that letter to them, and I played it straight as if that were really the case. And that generated a lot of discussion about how that's not really fair. And so it was a good lesson. Yeah.
Fun project.
Other student reactions that you've seen? What do kids think? What do they say to you? Anything about Edmodo?
Yeah, I mean, these kids it's the digital age. They're used to doing things on computers, so it's comfortable for them. It's a good format. It's what they're used to. And they can make that thing sing. I mean, any technology piece that I give them, they'll take it to another level. They'll be teaching me some of the technology, which they're learning stuff, right?
Right.
And isn't that a higher level of thinking that they're applying and saying, okay, I know the basic and I'm going to learn more about this? I mean, is that what we want?
Yeah.
We want to put the square peg in a round hole, right? And that's what they're doing. They're saying, well, what else can this thing do? And so I learn every day from the kids, whether it's Edmodo or any other technology we use.
So you see them adapting rapidly and then finding new ways and innovating with the
Yeah.
tools that you give them.
Yeah, they're completely
Awesome.
comfortable.
I would agree with that. My kids were missing their Gmail from last year because that's how we usually met. I sent out an email every day, so at first they were a little hesitant. They kind of missed having their email and having their chat boxes that they love, even though they're not allowed to chat during school. It's just the fact that it's there. But once when we connected with the Missouri classroom, it was like, this is amazing. And then when we did the mock election thing, they were so excited. They thought it was hilarious. I mean, and they were talking about the issues, so it wasn't, they were definitely having some good conversations and applying what they've gathered. And it was just, they're pretty excited about that. So the apps are pretty exciting for them. They like how easy it is, and they know how to get around in there, which makes it easy. So kind of like you said, adapting to it and producing from it.
Great. So kind of learn as they go and
Yeah.
find new ways to use it and make it work for them.
That's a great idea about the Missouri school, because we've got the exchange student from the Czech Republic.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to think of a way to integrate with their classroom. It's 10 o'clock at night there.
Right.
Where we meet, but maybe Edmodo, if they can link to Edmodo over there, that'd be kind of a way to do it.
Right, because it doesn't matter if you can post, during our time in class here, and then their kids can post at their time. It doesn't matter. It's asynchronous communication, so it would work great for when you're trying to communicate with the classroom, across the world in a 6-hour difference time zone or 8-hour, whatever they are. So that's a great way to use it. All right. So thanks for coming down this morning to talk about Edmodo, and do you have any final comments or anything you want to say about Edmodo?
It's awesome. Thanks, Clint. I think this is fun.
Yeah.
I hope everybody who's watching this, just gets in there and goes with it. And I think you'll find it kind of invigorates you,
I think just getting started.
Yeah.
You just have to take the leap, and then once you're in there, anybody of any ability level, once you've done a couple things, it's pretty self-explanatory. So.
Yeah, the kids will teach you.
Yeah, yeah.